Sign the papers and stop embarrassing this family, my dad snapped across the lawyer's desk. My sister sat beside him, smiling like she'd already won. I picked up the pen, then someone cleared their throat behind me. My name is Danielle Harper. I'm 34 years old, and I work as a medical billing coordinator at a small clinic. My life is quiet, organized, and mostly unremarkable, but the family I grew up in was anything but. I was the invisible one. My younger sister got the praise, the attention, the phone calls on her birthday that lasted an hour. I got polite nods and short conversations. She finished college, got married, built a career, and every milestone became a celebration. My milestones barely registered. For years, I told myself it didn't matter. I just kept showing up, paying bills when the family fell short, driving my mom to her appointments when nobody else had time, quietly handling the problems that piled up when people looked the other way. That was me, the one who stayed. When my mother passed away, I thought grief might soften things. Instead, my father and sister moved fast. Suddenly, the family home, the house I had lived in while caring for my mother through her illness, had nothing to do with me. At least, that's what they wanted me to believe. If you've ever been treated like the problem child in your own family, you'll understand exactly what I'm about to tell you. Subscribe if these kinds of stories hit close to home, and tap like or hype if you've ever felt invisible in a room full of people who were supposed to love you. My father's message was short and businesslike. Meet at the lawyer's office. Something about paperwork from Mom. I assumed it was routine estate business, maybe signatures on a few standard forms. When I walked in and saw my sister already seated, already relaxed, already smiling, my stomach shifted. She had the look of someone who had rehearsed this moment. The lawyer placed a set of documents on the table. Transfer of full property ownership. My sister's name was printed where my mother's used to be. My father slid the papers toward me and said, "Your sister has a family. You're single. This just makes sense." My sister nodded like he'd said something generous. I tried to ask a question. She cut me off immediately. "Don't make this difficult. Mum always wanted me to have the house." The smell of stale coffee and old furniture filled the room. A clock ticked somewhere behind me. I looked at those papers, and I thought about every night I had stayed up managing my mother's prescriptions, every weekend I had given up, every time I had covered a bill without being asked. And then my father said it, cold, flat, and certain. "Sign the papers and stop embarrassing us." I reached for the pen, and then I stopped. I asked to review the documents carefully. My sister laughed. "You're not suddenly a lawyer, Danielle." My father's jaw tightened. The lawyer began explaining what the waiver actually meant. I would give up all rights to the property and any future profits from a sale. I asked quietly whether my mother's complete will had been presented. My sister spoke over the lawyer before he could answer. Everything was already handled. Then my father leaned back and said loudly, "You didn't contribute anything anyway." That one landed hard. I had paid medical bills. I had managed her care. I had been there. My sister rolled her eyes and added, "Let's be honest. You only lived there because you had nowhere else to go." The lawyer shifted in his seat. He looked uncomfortable. I noticed that. They kept pushing the pen toward me. My father said, "This will take 2 minutes if you stop being dramatic." I glanced at the sealed folder sitting inside my bag, the one nobody had asked about. Months before my mother passed, we sat together at the kitchen table late one evening. She seemed worried, more than usual, like something had been sitting on her chest for a while. She slid an envelope across the table and said quietly, "Keep this safe. You may need it." I didn't open it that night. I just held on to it, the way she asked. I never told my father. I never told my sister. I came to that lawyer's office knowing exactly what I was carrying. I wanted to see how far they would go before I used it. The lawyer asked if I had any documents I wished to present before signing. My father answered for me immediately. "No, she doesn't." I looked at him and said calmly, "Actually, I do." I placed the sealed folder on the table. The lawyer paused and requested a short break to review it. I stepped into the hallway while my father and sister stayed inside, laughing quietly, certain I was stalling out of desperation. In the hallway, I met the lawyer's senior partner, a woman named Ms. Linda Caldwell. She examined my document and looked up at me with a different expression entirely. "If this is authentic," she said, "the meeting inside is about to change." It was authentic. Ms. Caldwell insisted the matter required a brief court review because the document directly contradicted the transfer papers. My father protested. My sister crossed her arms. But the process moved forward. In the hearing room, the judge opened a 27-page property report. The sound of those pages turning felt different than anything I'd heard all day. The judge looked at me and asked whether my mother had given the document to me directly. I said, "Yes, Your Honor." The judge then turned to my father and sister and asked if they were aware of an updated ownership agreement. They looked at each other. Neither answered. The judge read aloud from the file. My mother had placed the house in a shared trust with me listed as co-owner months before she died. My sister's voice went sharp immediately. "That has to be fake." The judge looked up without blinking. "This document was notarized and registered." Silence filled the room like cold air. The judge continued reviewing the report and stated plainly that any attempt to remove my claim without full disclosure would violate the terms of the trust. My father's confidence was completely gone. The judge closed the file. "This property cannot be transferred without Ms. Harper's consent." My father and sister had nothing left to say. Outside the courthouse, my father tried to apologize. It came out awkward and unfinished, the kind of apology that's really just discomfort in disguise. My sister walked ahead and didn't look back. I told my father simply, "You could have treated me like family instead of a problem." I didn't move back into the house, but I kept my legal share, protected and documented. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like the invisible one. My mother always said the truth doesn't need to be loud. That day, I finally understood what she meant. Have you ever been pressured by family to sign something you didn't fully understand? It happens more than people admit. Share your story in the comments and click hype to help this reach someone who needs it. Subscribe for more real-life family stories every week. Your support keeps these voices heard.